Well,
What do you mean I can't go down there? Are you telling me that I'm a prisoner on this ship? Mother, what's going on? What are you doing?
I'm sorry, Counselor. I'm not sure what to do.
Well, I'm sure. I'm a Venezuelan ambassador.
all right. So, they sent me the part for that grinder over there that you can't see. You can see part of it. See it right there? All right, see that? Well, I needed the cable inside of that, the drive cable. What the hell is that? Oh. Anyway, 7 months, 8 months, they call up, they say, what part is it that you need exactly? I think they sent us the wrong part. Now this is Grizzly. So I explained to the woman on the phone, and she was really nice about it. And I says, I need the inner cable. I need what I ordered. It shows on your website what it is, the part number, and everything. It's the inner cable. It's the drive cable. Well, that was 7 months ago. No, that was about 7 months, 8 months. That was a couple months ago. So now it's been going like 9 months. This is what they send me. They send me the whole thing. Now, that's great. Except this is what I need. This is what they sent me. This will not fit the machine. And I don't believe there's any way in hell that I'm going to be able to adapt that. I mean, if I was able to get this out of here, I can probably put the cable in here. But it doesn't, I don't know. I really don't know. This is what happens when you buy crap from Harbor Freight. And this is what happens when Grizzly says, oh, we got the part. Harbor Freight, I called them up, their parts department, and they said, well, you're going to have to go aftermarket online. We don't stock those. I couldn't tell you where to get it. You're going to have to research it. Wait a minute, this is Harbor Freight's Tech and Service Department telling me they don't know where to get it, that I gotta have to hunt down. So we're basically still here without this Dremel attachment, which was one of the reasons why I bought it, because it had more than one thing going for it. It's a little grinding, buffing type thing with a Dremel attachment. It's the perfect little machine if you can get parts for it. Right. So I may have to figure out what the hell I can do to make this work. If I was to get the cable out of here, I may be able to do something. I don't know. So meanwhile, I'm just going to put these over here. Went to Home Depot yesterday because I had to pick up some black stovepipe. The guy in the plumbing department, which is also runs that department, when I told him what he needed, he kept bringing me to the black pipe. I said, no, I need black stovepipe. Black pipe is right there. No. Stovepipe. Chimney. Black chimney stovepipe. 6-inch black pipe. We don't sell it. I said, you sold it? I said, I bought it here last year. No, we don't sell that. He says, whatever we have is down there, down that aisle. Now this is an older guy. They should know better. So I go down there again, I look. They got black elbows. They got black adapters. No black pipe. However, they did have a big void in their shelf with a label on it that said 6-inch black pipe. that this clown tells me they don't have it. They don't sell it. That's never been in their store. I go down and I get him. I said, come here, I got a question. Maybe you can help me with this. Well, he's got to go out of his way now to walk an aisle, all right? You know, I mean, this guy, for an older guy, I was really surprised that he was that lazy. So anyway, he gets down there and he says, what goes in this void here? What goes in that spot that's empty? He has no idea. He looks at the label. What's the tag say? 6-inch black pipe. He turns around and looks at me like, oh shit. I said, thank you. Have a good day. So meanwhile, I picked up a few other things. I went down there to buy 3 pieces of black pipe. I didn't get the black pipe, but I walked out of there spending $360. Don't ask me what. Well, I bought some caulk. I bought some fire block caulk. I bought some fire block foam. I bought some acetone. I bought about 25 plants that were on sale. All right, they're perennials. They're on sale. You know, they're getting rid of them for like $7 a piece. So I bought like 20 of those, 25 of them. I don't even know how many I got out there. I can still get them in the ground with a little fertilizer and get them to take before winter sets in. That was my main goal. So I ended up spending a lot of money. Anyway, didn't mean to do it, but it happened. So that's so much for that. So far, striking 0. Goose eggs. Well, I had to go to Meriden today because I had to pick up a few parts. Actually, I need to get one part. Well, I'll show you that in a minute. On the way to Meriden, I swung by Lowe's in New Haven. I had to go right by it anyway. Got off the highway, it's right there. Get back on the highway and away I go. Go in there, there it is. Black pipe, boom, done. Get my black pipe, get out of there. Night and day when it comes to people at work. Lowe's, I walked in the door. There was this guy, employee. He's walking down the aisle coming from the outside garden center. He sees me walk in. I got the cart. I'm looking down each aisle to see, okay, which way should I go to get to the black pipe? He says, can I help you? I go, yeah. I said, I'm looking for some black stovepipe. He goes, well, I'm in roofing and things, but he says, let's take care of you. So he takes me, he walks me around, he finds it, he's all set, points it right out, right to the, thank you. What a world of difference, got my pipe, got out of there. So anyway, I had to go to Meriden. There's a place in Meriden called Quicksilver Radio. QS Radio. And I needed to get a mount. This is the mount I needed. Believe it or not, this little puppy here was like 40 some odd dollars. Yeah. When you label something, it becomes, way overpriced. Meanwhile, this is basically something I was looking for. However, it's not exactly what I was looking for. What I have to do is I have to cut this lip mount off. This is a lip mount. So it goes on a gutter, a lip, like a trunk or a hood or something like that. I am not going to be using it on such. So because of that, I'm going to drill it right through the roof. So I want to have to cut these off, which is not a big deal. I'll drill 3 holes. I'll bolt it through the roof, nut and bolt. I'll put a small plate underneath, and now the antenna will screw on here. It's going to be in the back part of the roof so I can reach it without even climbing up. If I want to lower the antenna because it may be too high, give this a couple of twists, lay the antenna down. When I need the antenna again, lift it back up, tighten this back up. I've got a good ground and my antenna's up where it belongs. So this is what I went up there for. Well, when you get up there, this was like a garage, basically. It wasn't like a store. It was more like a garage with tables laid out, almost like a flea market atmosphere, for those of you who don't know what a hamfest atmosphere is. But a hamfest is like a flea market for ham radio operators. So that's what I did. Now that I'm up there, I say, well, wait a minute. I can use some coax, because all I have is some heavy-duty coax. I said, so I need a thinner heavy-duty coax. I wanted what they call 240 U.S. made flexible. That's what this is. 240 U.S. flexible. So that's for the amateur radio that's going to go in the car, so I don't have to run that real heavy stuff. Now, if I was going to run a lot of it, you know, well, even this, if I was to run 100 feet of this, it wouldn't be too bad. It's not a big deal. But I'm only going to be running maybe 25 feet or so. But I bought 100 feet because it's always good to have around. You got to make jumpers and things. So then I said, well, I got that. Let me buy a bag of connectors. PL259s. Now, I do have a few here. But the ones I have here are basically bargain basement type of stuff. And seeing that I'm going to be running HF with a little bit of power to it, I want a little bit better connector. So I bought 10 connectors. However, he didn't have the 176 reducers. He only had 175 reducers. I do believe I have some 176 reducers here. Anyway, for what I need them for. Then I bought a roll of solder that I needed. Pound of solder. Then I didn't need this. But I see uses for it because it's a lower profile. So I grabbed this. I didn't need it, but I grabbed it. I grabbed some new solder tips. Now, why did I grab these new solder tips? Because I know I bought a new solder station. I told you I was going to do it. I got tired of that piece of shit solder station that I have that didn't work. It worked when it wanted to. It takes me 20 minutes to solder one little connection because I got to fart with that thing to get it to work. Every time I turn it on. So I said, the hell with it. I'm going to buy another solder station. So this one was actually, it was cheap. It was 35 bucks, which was cheap. It's not the best one in the world, but it's going to be 10 times better than that. I have used these before. It's not a bad station for the money. The pencil is not replaceable. That's the only problem with this one versus the other ones that I've had. The other ones I've had that I used to use when I had my store, it was like a 4-pin mic plug. You push it in and you lock it on. You need a new pencil, you just unscrew it and plug a new pencil in. As well as tips. But I think in 3 or 4 years I may have replaced the tip 2 or 3 times. I mean the pencil. The tip maybe 5, 6 weeks maybe. I don't know. Not a whole lot. And it was on from like 9 in the morning until like 9 at night. Well, sometimes 12 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day, depending on the day. But it was always on. And I may have changed the tip on it every couple weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you. It was that little. But this is variable, which is good. It's 40 watt. It'll reach temperatures, I think, up to like 800 and change. 752, which is more than what I'm going to need. So I got myself a good solder station, and we're pretty well set there. The only thing I want to do now is get the springs. They have like a little ball of stainless. Looks almost like a heavy grade Brillo pad instead of the sponge. The sponge you got to wet it to clean the tip. With the other one you don't have to do any wetting. You just stick it in the spring and pull, you know, this little ball, and you pull it back out again. And it's actually better for the tip than using a wet solder or a wet sponge. So that's going to be replaced. So that's that. I got to slow down, I really do. You guys know what I mean. Sometimes we just get carried away, and away we go. Bought the coax, you've seen that. So that's that. I get home, I do.
I have come to officially request asylum aboard the Enterprise.
I get home, and this is on my porch. Ham radio outlet. Now, I think I'll open it. I'll open it right side up. I'm just gonna move it over here because I didn't strip the label yet. But let me do this first. Let me strip the label off of it. There. This is the new radio that I bought. It goes with the new antenna that I bought last week. That I had to buy this mount for to hook up. And this coax. So to get this working, basically to get this radio installed into my truck, a little procedure. We're talking $1,100. I don't talk money too much, but you know, I mean, it's just, that's all it is. For people that are looking to get into amateur radio, it's not always a cheap thing. Now I know half of these are going to end up on the floor. These smell like formaldehyde. It smells like I'm in a morgue. Hey, yes, I've been in morgues. When a body is dead and it's been laying around, it starts to look like chicken skin. It starts to look like a chicken with its feathers off. It looks like a body. Your body looks like a chicken with no feathers. It gets that kind of a look to the skin. And the smell of formaldehyde is terrible. It got so that every time I had to go into the morgue, I used to put vapor up under my nose so I didn't have to smell it. Hey, buddy. And after the bodies were all dissected and all cut up and put in bags for hazardous waste, it just looks like a bunch of meat that you're carrying out for trash. However, you had to put it into a hazardous waste because a special truck came to pick up the body parts. Okay. All right, here's the radio. I was actually going to call Yezu. Should even give us little decals. I was actually going to call them today to find out what the tracking number was, so I know when the hell this thing was coming. I ordered this, oh shit, when did I order this? Thursday or Friday. And it came from Oregon. So today's Wednesday. Wasn't too bad actually. Okay, this is the faceplate. This is what controls everything. Ta-da! Fast and slow, lock. That's the faceplate. Now this radio here is going to do almost everything that big radio does on the bench over there. So there's the face, the head unit. Right over there. This is basically the transceiver part. This actually weighs quite a bit. I'm surprised at how much it weighs. Wow. But that's the unit. The headpiece snaps in here and plugs into this. Now you can buy a longer one of these so that this can be put like under the seat or in a trunk, and the other piece, the head unit, can go on a dash or something like that, so you don't have to worry about bolting this whole thing up. Plus it has a little leg here, so if you actually want to use it in the house, you can. Because again, it's basically a full-featured HF radio. Has all the plugs in the back that you need. You have your antenna tuner jacks, you know, your SO239 for your antenna. It's got some type of USB plug here, earphones, keyer for Morse code. There's all kinds of crap back there, but meanwhile that's that. That's not going to go back in the bag, but I am going to put it over there on the shelf. Now we have the power cable. Power. Now the cables on this radio are the same cables that are on that big radio. Alright, they make it so all the cables are interchangeable. So if I was to buy another Yaesu, I wouldn't have to run a new wire. I can just take it and plug it in. Plug. Okay, and that's how that works. So we got the power cable. We have the mounting hardware to mount the brain, basically, the transceiver portion. And again, if I wanted to mount the head unit separately, I would have to buy the additional cable. And I'm sure there's a little mounting hardware that goes with it to get that going. Let me put that over there. We have a fuse. Oh, isn't that just ducky? We have some mounting screws and more mounting screws. I think that's about all that's going to be where we are here. Yeah, okay, so that takes care of all that. There shouldn't be anything else hidden anywhere. No. This is the microphone. The mic holder. And the micy phone. I don't like these module mics, mic plugs. I like the 5-pin, 4-pin, 8-pin. You know, it pushes in, locks in, and then you screw it on. Those are the mics I like. But everybody's going module at this point. So that's about where you're at. So there we are in the old nutshell. So I'm going to keep all this in here. I want to keep the box just in case it has to go back for any reason. They take better care of things if they see that you're taking care of things. Nothing else goes in here? Oh yeah, something does. Hold on a minute. Let me put that in there. This in here. And that in there. Okay. The hardware and stuff I need, so I don't bother putting those bags in, I'll just throw them away. So this will be put up on top. I'll put the date on it. Today's date. Which is what? September 11th. 09/11/17. This way I can look at it real quick when I put it up on top shelf in the storage with all the other boxes. as to, oh, I bought it, I got it then. Yeah. So that's that, guys. I bought some extra tips. This place I went to today, this Quicksilver Radio in Meriden, Connecticut. They don't sell radios, but they sell a lot of little parts, power plugs, adapters, connectors, coax. You know, it's a nice little accessory shop for ham radio. So, actually, what I bought, let me see here, 60, 95, I don't even know what I got the receipt. 95, I think this was 25, this was for 50, these were, there's 10 of them there, those are 30, this was, I think, 19. Whatever it was, it came to like 200 bucks, you know. Oh, and the extra tips, that was 10 bucks. But again, you know, he always rounds it off, so you don't mind. You know, it's just the way it is. So, you know, sometimes you gain, sometimes you lose. This point I gained. I won out on this one. You know, it was basically nickels and dimes. I saved about 14 bucks or so. With these tips, they put a coating on them. It's like a ceramic coating, which, again, which is new to me. But I'm assuming, for those of you who may have used these tips before, I'm assuming it helps to transfer the heat from the solder pencil to the tip. So that's where we're at, guys. So, other than that, just hanging out and chilling. Got to plant a few more plants, because I still have, I don't know how many out there. I bought bone meal. Bone meal, by the way, is it's a good fertilizer or food. If you're going to be transplanting something or planting something, and you want it to get, you know, you want it to get some beef, you want it to grab, you know, you want it to get in there before winter sets in. You want it to take root. Sprinkle just a little. You don't need a lot. Just you know, maybe a shot glass of bone meal into the hole before you put your plant in it. Cover it up, water it well for a couple of days, and you'd be surprised what it does. They make it for gardens, you know, for veggies and stuff, and they make it for plant life. You know, the plant life, you can use it for trees, anything you want to use it for. Anything you're going to plant or transplant, other than veggies. Veggies, you want to use the other one. So, alright guys, I'll be able to try out the new solder iron too, because I got to put some ends on this. And I like solder on ends. I'm not a big crimp person. I like solder. I'm not a crimp ender. Alright. So, I'll be able to try out the new solder station. Now, what I don't know is, do I want to put the solder station over here where the other one is, replace it completely? The other one, I do use it occasionally for the heat gun that's built into it. But does it warrant keeping it there? You know what I mean? Most of the time, I'm trying to get away from doing any of the soldering or work on the other bench where I sit most of the time with the computer and the radio, because I like this to be the work area over here. because you don't want to accidentally, you know, splatter some hot solder on the front of a radio or on your computer, or the solder iron accidentally touch your radio or computer, and the next thing you know, it melted it on you. So you don't want to take those chances. So I gotta make sure that I train myself to come over to this side when I'm going to do any soldering. Plus, I also got the light over here with the magnifier glass, so naturally that's going to come in handy. So I'll probably put the solder station over here, and then take the one that's up here and maybe move it over. I know, I'll put it over there next to the drills, because I can still go over there to do some heat shrinking if I have to. Well, better yet, I could put a little shelf up here. You're not seeing what I'm talking about. Just to hold that. So if I have to use the heat gun, you know, I got the big heat gun. You gotta go get it, plug it in, all that. But this has got a little directed heat gun. The heat gun is actually pretty good. And I can take that and just put it right there. So if I need it, it's right here for me, and yet it's not in my way. So, because it does have a little power supply in it as well. I think it goes from 9 to 16 or 6 to 16. The only thing is, it's only a 1.5 amp power supply, so it's not a big supply. But it's good for if you want to test some voltage points and you got to send a little voltage through something to trace it. It's good for that. So it does have some good uses, even though the rest of it sucks. Now I'm actually thinking that it may have some cold solder joints in it. That's why it works, and it doesn't work. But I couldn't fix it until I bought another solder iron anyway. So I may even try to fix it. So, alright guys, that's enough for now. I gotta do some planting, and I've been out all day, so I want to take a little break.